Welcome back, everyone. Indonesia was chosen as the guest of honor for the first edition of the African Asian Festival held here in Sharm el-Sheikh. Actually, Indonesia is known for its rich and very unique culture. And the culture of Indonesia has been shaped by long interaction between original indigenous customs and multiple foreign influences. Indonesia, as a matter of fact, is centrally located along ancient trading routes between the Far East, also South Asia, and the Middle East. All this resulted in many cultural practices being strongly influenced by a multitude of religions, including Hinduism, Buddhism, and Islam, and also Christianity, all strong in the major trading cities. And the result is a complex, very unique mixture of different original indigenous cultures. Perhaps this is one of the main reasons that Indonesia has been chosen as the guest of honor for the festival. And today we are very much honored and delighted to have with us here in this unique location in Sharm el-Sheikh His Excellency, the Ambassador of Indonesia in Egypt, Ambassador Helmy Fawzy. It's great having you with us, Mr. Ambassador. Thank you very much for coming today.
My pleasure.
Your Excellency, I want to know from you about Indonesia's participation in the festival, the first edition of the festival here in Sharm el-Sheikh.
First of all, I'd like to extend my sincere appreciation to the organizing committee, the Afro-Asian People's Solidarity Committee, for inviting Indonesia to be the guest of honor in this great event. And it's really a privilege for us, an honor for us to participate in this festival of art, cinema, and tourism. And in this great event, Indonesia will perform and stage two movies. First is a movie called Aisha. The title is Aisha. It's about religious tolerance in Indonesia. And the second movie is entitled The Mirror Never Lies. It's about the great and rich underwater environment of one of the biggest coral reef in the world. It's almost 1.5 kilometers long. So, as like in Sharm el-Sheikh, Indonesia also has lots of interesting dive spots, and one of these great dive spots is reflected in this movie, The Mirror Never Lies.
Okay. Sir, perhaps Indonesia was chosen for its very unique culture. Perhaps Egypt and Indonesia share a lot of things when it comes to culture. Do you think this is one of the reasons why Indonesia was chosen as the guest of honor?
Yes, I think so. Indonesia, like Egypt, is also a country that appreciates multiculturalism and also respect tolerance. And also Indonesia, 60 years ago, together with the late President Gamal Abdel Nasser, President Sukarno, and other leaders of Asian African countries, we organized the Bandung Conference, the first Asia-Africa Solidarity Conference in the world. And I think this great event, the Africa-Asia Film Festival, or Festival of Arts, Cinema, and Tourism, once again reflect the Bandung spirit, the spirit that want to strengthen cooperations amongst people in Africa and Asia.
Okay. Sir, martial arts and dances are some of the shows that Indonesia will present. Now tell us more, Your Excellency, about this, because I think this would be a surprise for many of us.
Yes, certainly. I think you will enjoy watching this choreography of
for me, I will definitely enjoy it. I love this type of culture.
Yes. So this is a kind of choreography of Indonesian martial arts that the world know it as silat, the Indonesian martial art. So we package this in such a way, in a choreography that will be very interesting to see. So we will perform a part of screening two movies. Also, we will have a number of performance, like a dance from different parts of regions in Indonesia. This also, once again, reflect the variety of cultures, the multicultural of Indonesia. That we consist of 17,000 islands,
yes,
and more than 500 languages. So this is again reflect that Indonesia a multicultural, multi-ethnic, multi-religion country.
Okay. Your Excellency, how do you see the importance of holding such events in a city like Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt and in Sharm el-Sheikh in particular?
In particular, Sharm el-Sheikh is a beautiful city and also known as City of Peace.
Yes.
And I'm sure this festival, once again, will send a very clear message to the world about peace, friendship, and cooperations, in particular amongst the peoples in Africa and Asia. And Egypt, since Egypt the only country that also lies in Africa and in Asia.
Yes.
So Egypt play a very great role in bridging countries in Asia, in Africa, to meet the contemporary challenges. If we see the challenges of the African and Asian countries 50 years ago is the challenge to gain independence. No, almost all countries in Asia and Africa already gained their independence. So we're now facing new challenges, contemporary challenges, which is how to strengthen cooperation, collaborations, in particular also in the field of cultural exchanges, exchange amongst peoples in Asia and Africa. And here, a very clear message from Sharm el-Sheikh that now we are ready. People in Asia and Africa are really prepared to strengthen their cooperation into the next level for the prosperity and welfare of all peoples in Asia and Africa.
Okay. Your Excellency, you touch upon a very important issue here. The threats, if we're talking about politics, the threats facing Egypt, Indonesia, and the whole world perhaps are the same. But if we're talking about peoples getting together, peoples getting to know each other, and if we're talking about Egyptians and Indonesians, don't you think that we need to even boost even more the ties when it comes to cultural cooperation, bringing tourism? I know that so many Egyptians go to Indonesia, but here you are the ambassador of Tunisia, and you are here in this very beautiful place of Sharm el-Sheikh. Don't you think that we need to strengthen that through tourism, through cultural events more even?
Yes, I think we should work more
Yes.
to strengthen cooperations, in particular between Egypt and Indonesia. And actually, in the moment, we are about to sign a cooperation, a memorandum of understanding between the governorate of South Sinai and the governorate of Bali, that we want to build sister province between Bali in Indonesia and this province of South Sinai. So it's also once again a reflection that there will be a closer cooperation between Egypt and Indonesia, and in particular between the Sharm el-Sheikh and the governorate of South Sinai and Bali.
Okay.
Because there are similarities between the two. Both of them, Bali and Sharm el-Sheikh, are known as tourist destinations.
Yes.
Both regions also very much known, has a beautiful underwater environment.
Yes.
So people go to Bali also for diving, and then also to Sharm el-Sheikh for diving. Probably we should go both to Sharm el-Sheikh and to Bali.
Amazing. That's amazing. I mean, that would be great if it could be achieved. And away from that, actually, Egypt and Indonesia both are Muslim majority countries with significant non-Muslim minorities. And Egypt was one of the first nations that recognized Indonesian sovereignty back in 1945. Your Excellency, Indonesia has an embassy in Cairo, and Egypt has the embassy in Jakarta. And both countries are members of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC, and the Non-Aligned Movement, the G20 developing nations and developing 8 countries. All of these aspects are bringing Egypt and Indonesia together. In your opinion, what could be done to even strengthen more Egyptian-Indonesian relations?
Yes, first of all, I like to also underline that Egypt has a special place in the mind and the heart of Indonesians. Egypt is the first country that recognized Indonesian independence. So anyone in Indonesia know Egypt and know this, that Egypt is the first country that recognized Indonesian independence, and we always thanks people of Egypt for that. And certainly in many international forums, we are on the same page.
Yeah.
Usually position of Egypt is similar with the position of Indonesia. And now we have a new challenges. Now there is a rise of intolerance in the world. and we should fight together. This kind of the rise of intolerance, the rise of extremisms, and by bringing people closer together, I think this is also one way that we can fight extremisms in the world.
Exactly.
Because I think by bringing peoples all over the world together, we will create friendship and understanding of multiculturalisms.
Yes. Your Excellency, what is the cooperation between Egypt and Indonesia in the field of education? Now we've talked about tourism, we've talked about politics. What about education?
Indonesia already sent their best kids, best children to study in Egypt, in particular to University of Al-Azhar,
Yes.
since more than 100 years ago. Most of Indonesians ulama, Indonesian scholars actually come from Egypt. So currently there are more 5,000 Indonesian students study at Al-Azhar University. And this is also, Egypt also the source of Indonesian educations. And we actually would like also to bring more Indonesian students to study in Egypt. You have a very good universities here. And in Al-Azhar, Indonesian students also study Islam as the religion of peace.
Yes. And that's very important because
That's very important.
That's very important because Islam is the religion of peace, and perhaps there are some misconceptions about Islam, but working together in this field would actually send a very strong message to the whole world in this regard.
I certainly agree. And that's why we would like to send our students to study Islam here, because when they come to Indonesia, they bring Islam as a religion, Rahmatan lil Alamin,
Yes,
religion of
Rahmatan lil
peace.
Alamin.
Yes. And most of Indonesian leaders, particularly youth leaders, actually graduated from Al-Azhar University. So this is how, for instance, the thinking of moderate Islam in Al-Azhar also shaped the thinking of Islam in Indonesia.
Yes. Mr. Ambassador, we've talked about Egyptian-Indonesian relations when it comes to politics, tourism, education. Now let's go to business and trade. In 2013, the volume of trade between the two countries reached 1.03 billion US dollars. Now, what are the fields of trade between Egypt and Indonesia now, and what are the potentials in the upcoming future?
Yes, I have to say that there is a significant increase of trade volumes between Egypt and Indonesia. Last year, the trade volume reached almost 1.5 billion US dollars, and the trend continues to rise. And mostly, Indonesian import to Egypt is dates and phosphate. And then the Egypt import from Indonesia, mostly palm oil, coffee, and some car accessories. I strongly believe and very optimistic that the trade volume between countries will increase significantly in the year to come.
Okay. Your Excellency, I want to seize this very important opportunity, and I want you to tell us about what are the unique characteristics of Indonesia that Egyptians must know about.
Indonesia is multi-ethnic, multi-religions, multi-language. We have lots of local language, and this people of Indonesia is very peaceful, very smiley, and I wish that more and more people from Egypt visit Indonesia in particular for honeymoon, because now I found lots of Egyptians, if they plan to have a honeymoon, they go to Bali.
Okay.
And also now it's many also Indonesian, and more, if they want to go to honeymoon, they go to Sharm el Sheikh.
Okay, so we want Indonesian honeymooners to come to Sharm el Sheikh. That
Yes.
would be that would be
That would
amazing.
be great. Yes.
What would be the message that you would like to send to the whole world and to your people in Indonesia about Egypt and about Sharm el Sheikh?
Sharm el Sheikh is the city of peace, and I hope this festival, Afro-Asian Festival, once again will send a clear message to the world that through cultural understanding, through cultural exchange, we can build peace in this world.
Your Excellency, Indonesia's ambassador to Egypt, Ambassador Helmy Fawzy, thank you very much for coming to Nile Cruise. It's been a great honor for us, the whole team here at Nile Cruise, and of course, we are very much honored to have you here in Sharm el-Sheikh. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you.